The story begins in a side room. While his fiancée slept soundly, Yang Fan quietly got out of bed. He threw on his clothes and rushed straight into the school's mud-filled bathhouse. Staring at that seductive figure, Yang Fan didn't hesitate for a second before smashing the fire hydrant. He pulled an axe from inside, then swung it with all his strength, sending her head flying. That was when it became clear Yang Fan had returned to a time before the apocalypse began. And in that moment, he finally saw his fiancée for who she truly was. In his previous life, 10 years after the apocalypse, Yang Fan, then a 7th-tier Berserker Blade Warrior, was sent to an infected zone to wipe out a zombie horde. What should have been a routine mission turned into a nightmare when an 8th-tier Butcher Zombie appeared. Yang Fan stood no chance against a monster like that. At the critical moment, his younger sister stepped forward, using her own body to block the fatal blow. Only then did Yang Fan seize the opening and cut the zombie down. To find revival, holy water, and save her, he traveled all the way back to the base. What awaited him was the sight of his fiancée, Zhao Yunrong, tangled up with Xiao Ao. In an instant, everything made sense. It had all been a trap set by those two. But Yang Fan had no time for rage. He could only beg Xiao Ao to hand over the holy water to save his sister. Seeing Yang Fan return alive, Xiao Ao froze in shock, curious how he'd escaped an 8th-tier zombie. The moment he heard about the revival holy water, he broke into a grin. That kind of medicine is priceless. Why would I waste it on trash? Left with no other choice, Yang Fan revealed his final card. This ring is the secret behind my invincibility at the same tier. Take it, and you'll be like me. Reach the highest tier, and you'll rule everything. Xiao Ao never expected a bonus like this, but he never planned on a fair trade. Once Yang Fan was dead, the ring would be his anyway. The next instant, Xiao Ao leapt into the air, a ball of purple flame exploding from his palm. Already badly wounded, Yang Fan couldn't resist. The searing flames stripped him of all fighting strength. Just as Xiao Ao reached for the ring, Yang Fan suddenly swallowed a whole. Xiao Ao burst out laughing. He planned to leave Yang Fan an intact corpse. Now, there was no need. As he prepared to cut Yang Fan open, a blinding golden light erupted from Yang Fan's body. When Yang Fan opened his eyes again, he found himself 3 hours before the apocalypse began. After confirming it wasn't a dream, he finally understood he had been reborn. Looking at his still sleeping fiancée beside him, disgust churned violently in his stomach. Just as he moved to leave, the door was kicked open and 2 burly men stormed in. They accused Yang Fan of sleeping with Brother Long's woman and said they were here to break his 3rd leg. The 2 burly men didn't even get the chance to swing before Yang Fan smashed their faces flat in an instant. As he turned to leave, Zhao Yunrong suddenly sat up on the bed, her face full of grievance. "Brother Fan, where are you going? After getting what you wanted, are you really going to abandon Rome?" What she never expected was that Yang Fan didn't even look back. His voice was ice cold. "You've got at least 5 men in this city. Say one more disgusting word, and I'll cut you down." Zhao Yunrong's scalp went numb. How does this loser know? She panicked. I've always played the innocent girl in front of him. The scene shifted. The moment Yang Fan stepped out of the hotel, black seeds began drifting down from the sky. His heart sank. Did the apocalypse start early? He immediately pulled out his phone and called his sister, Yang Qingxue, warning her that the apocalypse was about to begin and telling her to lock the doors and windows and stay inside. At first, Yang Qingxue thought her brother was joking. But when she looked out the window, she saw zombies swarming the streets, some of them already feeding on people. Before she could say anything else, the signal cut out. Yang Fan instantly realized that the communications center had already fallen. He clearly remembered that in the early days of the apocalypse, their parents' area was relatively safe, while his sister's location was far more dangerous. Finding Yang Qingxue had to come first. Just then, the ring on his hand reacted, signaling the presence of a traitor nearby. This was one of the ring's abilities, and the reason Yang Fan had always reached traitors ahead of everyone else in his previous life. Following the energy detected by the ring, he rushed straight to the school's women's bathhouse. The moment he stepped inside, a mutated female zombie lunged straight at him. Yang Fan reacted instantly, smashing the fire hose cabinet apart, yanking the axe from inside, and bringing it down in a single strike, severing the zombie's head. He bent down, removed the crystal core from its forehead, and completed the entire sequence in one smooth motion. Just as he straightened up, a mysterious man in a gray robe suddenly appeared behind him. Instead of panicking, Yang Fan curled his lips into a knowing smile. After the apocalypse, beings known as traitors had emerged. They wore robes in colors like gray, white, red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and purple, each color representing different tiers of evolution potions and special equipment. Any human carrying crystal cores could trigger a trade simply by approaching them. The ring on Yang Fan's hand didn't just grant discounts during trades. It also allowed him to refresh a trader's inventory once a week, with a high chance of pulling rare cards. Yang Fan cautiously brought the ring closer. To his surprise, it actually rolled a top-tier professional craftsman card. Even with the discount, his crystal cores still weren't enough to buy evolution potions. If he wanted to grow stronger fast, he needed far more cores. Just then, a shrill scream echoed from the next room. Yang Fan peeked over and saw a zombie slowly closing in on two girls. They were holding knives, but fear kept them frozen in place. Since he'd seen it, Yang Fan had no intention of standing by. He rushed in and dropped the zombie with a single axe strike. The red-haired girl stared in shock. "Why you killed someone?" Yang Fan snapped at her to shut up and look properly. That was a zombie, not a human. After a brief exchange, Yang Fan realized the truth. The two women he'd just saved were his future enemies. Yin Yu, ace enforcer and sharpshooter of Blood Rose Base, and Duanmu E, a mutated biology research doctor. Suddenly, the female zombie wasn't as dead as it seemed. It lurched upright, lunging straight for Yang Fan. Yin Yu reacted instantly, a throwing knife flashing through the air and pinning the zombie to the ground. Raised in a martial arts family, she trained with knives since childhood. But against zombies, piercing the heart meant nothing. Seeing it try to rise again, Yang Fan hacked straight at its head. And only after it went completely still did he crouch down to retrieve the crystal core. Yin Yu stepped forward. Looking for this? Yang Fan's eyes widened. Where did you find it? That confirmed her suspicion. It really was a crystal core. Zombies in novels and anime always drop them, and seeing Yang Fan search the body had tipped her off. She pointed to Duanmu E. Xiaoyi's a top anatomy student. Finding things on corpses is child's play for her. Yin Yu then suggested teaming up. In the apocalypse, one more person meant one more chance to survive. Yang Fan thought it over. Both women were high potential assets. If he wanted to build his own faction and kill Xiao Ao one day, they were worth the investment. In his previous life, Yin Yu became an 8th-tier, God-tier sharpshooter, while Duanmu E rose to a 6th-tier, mutated life specialist capable of controlling mutated flora and fauna. Their Blood Rose base had been a rival of Tianlun 3rd base, where Yang Fan once belonged. Becoming teammates this early felt unreal. Yang Fan doubted he'd even sleep that night. After reaching an agreement, Yang Fan stepped outside to stand guard while the two women changed into more practical clothes. When they returned, Yang Fan laid down 3 rules. No betrayal, all crystal cores under his control, and absolute obedience to commands. Their first stop was the school's first teaching building. It was crawling with zombies. Yang Fan handled the silent kills while the two women followed behind, collecting cores. Examining one up close, Duanmu E noted that the crystal structure was completely unfamiliar. In theory, it could turn normal humans into zombies, but only lab analysis could confirm that. Yang Fan, however, was certain the cores had critical uses. He cut through zombies like a blade through vegetables. None of them noticed the zombies creeping up from behind. At the last second, a speeding car slammed into the group, sending bodies flying. Lin Tian, heir of the Lin group, stepped out smugly. Yin Yu, come with me, and I'll get you out of this hellhole. Yin Yu was speechless. This clingy parasite had followed her everywhere. Seeing no response, Lin Tian turned to money. Hands in his pockets, he walked up to Yang Fan, pulled out a blank, unlimited check, and told him to fill in any amount if he agreed to be his bodyguard. The offer reminded Yang Fan of something important. He needed to stockpile resources and gear fast. Unfortunately, the roar of the rich kid sports car had already drawn a massive horde. Yang Fan's original plan of silent kills was completely ruined. Swinging his axe non-stop, he shouted, "You two stay behind me. These low-tier zombies are slow. Push through with me." Yin Yu didn't hesitate, driving a kick straight into a charging zombie's face. The sight reassured Yang Fan. As expected of Blood Rose's top combatant, even barehanded, she held her ground. Meanwhile, Lin Tian tried to play the hero, flooring his sports car straight through the chaos. His recklessness gave Yang Fan's group a chance to rush toward the teaching building. But Lin Tian got there first, slammed the door shut, and locked it behind him. He tried to blackmail Yin Yu, agreed to be his woman, or he wouldn't let the others in. With zombies closing in, the two girls were momentarily helpless. Fighting his way through, Yang Fan shouted from a distance, telling them to reroute toward the cafeteria instead. The zombie numbers kept rising. Yang Fan quickly realized the real threat was the mutated demonic plant controlling them. Spotting an opening, he charged straight at it, aiming for a decisive kill. To his shock, the plant had already evolved to Tier 2. His axe couldn't even scratch it. As the plant sent the zombies surging again, Yin Yu and Duanmu created the critical opening. Yin Yu held the horde back, while Yang Fan dumped all his gasoline onto the plant, then tossed a lighter. Flames engulfed the plant, finally silencing it. But in its dying moment, it released a cloud of nerve-paralyzing pollen, knocking out even some of the zombies. Thanks to Yang Fan's quick reaction, they held their breath and escaped. Only afterward did they realize, Yin, you had been scratched during the fight. With mutation imminent, the only option was to rush back to the women's bathhouse to find an advancement potion. When they arrived, Yin Yu stared in shock. Who's that gray robe guy? Why is there someone here? Yang Fan didn't answer. He gathered the crystal cores and walked straight toward the traitor. To their disbelief, Yang Fan vanished the moment he approached. For a second, they thought he'd abandoned them. In reality, he had entered a separate trading space. There, he purchased one evolution potion and a bottle of mineral water. After drinking the potion, power flooded his body, and his level rose from Tier 0 to Tier 1. Only at Tier 1 could he infuse purification into the water and save Yin Yu, but the ring's secret had to remain hidden for now. Once finished, Yang Fan reappeared. Yin Yu was already unconscious, on the verge of mutation. Without hesitation, Yang Fan took a mouthful of purified water and fed it to her directly. Duanmu froze in shock. When Yin Yu wakes up, is she going to kill him? After 5 long minutes, the corpse marks on Yin Yu's arm finally faded. She woke up to find Yang Fan still feeding her. Her face flushed red as she shot upright. Yang Fan, is this really how you saved me? After some explanation, Yin Yu finally understood how crucial the crystal cores had been. After a short rest, the trio returned to the open ground in front of the teaching building, ready to collect every last crystal core while the zombies remained unconscious. That was when they ran into a familiar face. It was Lin Tian, the rich kid who had been harassing Yin Yu, now nothing more than a zombie. After Yang Fan burned the mutated demonic plant, Lin Tian had returned. At the time, the zombies were still unconscious from the pollen. Thinking it was safe, he approached the remains, noticed a budding flower on the ground, and bent down to pick it up. In the next instant, a massive root burst from the earth, piercing straight through him and turning him into a zombie. Sensing danger, Yang Fan immediately went on guard. A deafening crash followed as a huge crimson root shot toward them. Yang Fan grabbed Yin Yu and dodged, but Duanmu was too far away. Limited by distance, the vine redirected toward her. Before she could react, she was yanked into the air. This was a spore born from the burned demonic plant, still seeking revenge. Yang Fan charged forward and severed the root with his axe. The plant residue retaliated, spewing toxic gas. Yang Fan covered his mouth and nose, but the pollen still blinded him. Believing victory was assured, the roots coiled behind him for a fatal strike. At that moment, Yang Fan's ring flashed gold. The toxins around him were instantly purified. He snapped his eyes open, and in a single breath, finished the plant with his axe. To his surprise, it dropped 2 crystal cores, one gray, one white. The white core clearly belonged to the Tier 2 plant, never consumed. Duanmu shouted, "Careful! The spore is growing again." Yang Fan recognized it instantly. Not a spore, but a refined essence carrying part of the plant's traits. Yin Yu frowned. "Essence? What's it for?" Yang Fan smiled mysteriously. "You'll find out soon." They returned to the bathhouse and reopened trading. 1 white crystal equaled 1,000 gray ones. This time, Yang Fan exchanged for another craftsman card, 2 Tier 1 evolution potions, and a handgun for Yin Yu. "You're giving me the gun. Don't you need a weapon?" she asked. Yang Fan simply raised the craftsman card with confidence. It allowed him to remodel any item into a Tier 1 weapon. For example, turning an axe into a long blade, infusing it with mutant essence, instantly upgrading it into a Tier 2 weapon with a paralysis effect. Both women looked on in envy. Duanmu held up her scalpel. "Can mine be upgraded too?" Yang Fan laughed. "Of course. I'll make 2. Using craftsmanship, he forged 2 Tier 1 daggers, one for each of them. Combined with evolution potions, their combat strength surged. Fully prepared, Yang Fan set his next destination, his sister Yang Qingshue's dormitory. They found a car, smashed straight through the streets, and arrived at the building. Something felt wrong immediately. Signs of violent struggle were everywhere, but Qingxue was nowhere to be seen. Duanmu Yi soon found Qingshue's phone. Based on the wristband's disconnect time, she had to be nearby. Yang Fan decided to search floor by floor. Meanwhile, on the 7th floor's activity room, Yang Qingxue was tied to a chair. Her screams only excited the attackers further. Several other high school girls were bound beside her. One of the kidnappers pinched Yang Qingxue's cheek and sneered. "Guess the apocalypse isn't all bad. Where else would you find a girl this fresh?" As he spoke, his behavior grew more aggressive. Tears slid down Qingxue's face. She regretted everything. Opening the door to these pitiful-looking criminals had been a fatal mistake. Suddenly, the door was kicked open. The moment Yang Fan saw his sister being abused, pure killing intent exploded in his eyes. He charged forward and ended the man's life with a single slash. The thug leader, emboldened by numbers, sneered arrogantly, completely underestimating Yang Fan. One of his lackeys lunged in with a blade, aiming straight for Yang Fan. Before he could strike, a throwing knife flew straight into his forehead, instant death. It was Yinyu. Moments later, every last criminal lay dead. Finally safe, Qingxue broke down. She clung tightly to Yang Fan, crying uncontrollably after escaping death. The two rescued high school girls stepped forward, offering to join Yang Fan's group in gratitude, claiming they would do anything for protection. To their shock, Yang Fan refused outright. He pointed toward the ruined city outside. "This is the apocalypse. I don't need dead weight. If you don't make yourselves stronger, your fate will be no different from theirs." Watching them leave, the two girls muttered bitterly, accusing him of hypocrisy and favoritism. After leaving the dorm, Qingshue's stomach growled loudly. That reminded Yang Fan of supplies, but the supermarket's front entrance was packed with zombies, making entry extremely dangerous. Duanmu, he suddenly had an idea. Large supermarkets often had hidden delivery entrances where fewer zombies might gather. Without hesitation, Yinyu slammed the accelerator. They quickly circled around to the loading dock. Once inside, Yinyu frowned. "This is strange. There aren't any zombies here." Duanmu nodded. "That doesn't make sense. Places like this should be crawling with them. And with so many zombies at the front entrance, something must be drawing them there. The fact that we got in so easily means something's wrong." Soon, they found a massive pool of blood near the front area. Duanmu confirmed it was human blood. That explained why the zombies had all gathered at the front. Clearly, someone had engineered this setup, protecting food supplies while keeping zombies and outsiders away. A near-perfect defensive arrangement. Yinyu and Yang Qingxue quickly stuffed their backpacks full, but even then, the food wouldn't last long. That was when Yang Fan remembered his ring had a storage function. Just as he was about to act, a sharp instinct warned him. He was already being watched. On the 2nd floor, supermarket security Captain Wang Yilong stared at the monitors. "So that guy down there, that's your former fiancé, Yang Fan?" Kneeling on the floor, Zhao Yunrong hurriedly shook her head. "He's not my fiancé at all. I only care about you, Boss Long. What happened this morning? He forced me." She quickly added, "And he's really weird. He woke up talking about how the apocalypse is a world ruled by the strong." Wang Yilong's eyes lit up. He grabbed her by the throat. "You're sure he said the word apocalypse? Lie to me, and I'll throw you outside to be zombie snacks." Terrified, Zhao Yunrong nodded frantically, cursing in her heart. "Yang Fan, you bastard. No wonder you ditched me at the hotel. You already found someone new and left me to get dragged back to serve this lunatic." She pointed at the screen. "Boss, look, that woman's handgun is glowing. And that guy has 3 women with him, all gorgeous." Wang Yilong grinned. Interest fully sparked. He gathered his men and headed downstairs. At the same time, Yang Fan sensed the surveillance. He leaned close to Yinyu and whispered, "Someone's watching us." We split up next. He walked over to a nearby shelf, picked up a bottle of mineral water. With a sharp throw, he smashed the camera mounted beside the shelf. Then he raised his right hand toward the shelves. In an instant, all the food vanished into Yang Fan's ring. The higher the ring's level, the larger its storage space. As the shelves were emptied, danger closed in fast. A throwing knife shot toward Yang Fan's back. Already prepared, he sidestepped and avoided it with ease. When he turned around, his expression darkened. It was Wang Yilong. In his previous life, this man had tortured him relentlessly, nearly ruining him. Watching a group of guards rush forward, Yang Fan scoffed. With a casual swing of his arm, several guards were sent crashing to the ground. Wang Yilong stared in disbelief. How does a kid this young have that kind of strength? He snarled, "Listen up, brat. Don't get cocky. My men have already grabbed your 3 women. Make one wrong move, and..." Before he could finish, a thug came flying through the air and slammed onto the floor. Yin stepped in with several subdued guards behind her. Yang Fan, just like you said, these idiots tried to sneak attack after you left. I've already dealt with all of them. At the sight of this, Wang Yilong was drenched in sweat. He dropped to his knees, kowtowing frantically, claiming everything had been Zhao Yunrong's idea. Yet even as he begged, his hand slipped toward a weapon nearby, preparing a sudden strike. The move didn't escape Yang Fan's eyes. He caught the baseball bat mid-swing and activated his craftsman modification skill. In an instant, the bat reshaped into a razor-sharp blade that pierced straight through Wang Yilong's arm. A shrill scream tore from his throat. Yin Yu froze in shock. She never imagined a craftsman class card could be used like this. Completely broken, Wang Yilong sobbed, promising to hand over the entire supermarket if Yang Fan spared his life. But mercy was the one thing least tolerated in the apocalypse. Yang Fan raised his hand and activated the skill again. Wang Yilong died on the spot. Everything was witnessed by Zhao Yunrong on the second floor. Realizing her end was near, she bolted toward the control room. She rushed to the computer, and with a mindset on mutual destruction, opened the supermarket's main doors. The moment the doors slid open, zombies flooded in like a raging tide. Even Yang Fan hadn't expected Zhao Yunrong to sink that low. He issued orders immediately. Yin Yu, go upstairs and shut down the main gate controls. Duamu Yi, protect my sister Qingxue. I'll handle the zombies. Just as Yin Yu opened the control room door, a heavy club swung toward her face. She dodged aside effortlessly, having anticipated the attack. Boosted by an evolution potion, she subdued Zhao Yunrong with ease. As the central system rebooted, the supermarket doors closed once more. Yin Yu dragged Zhao Yunrong downstairs and asked Yang Fan how to deal with her. Zhao Yunrong immediately argued, I was helping you deal with Wang Yilong's people. They killed the staff and wanted you dead. She leaned closer, her voice dripping with honey. Fan, baby, I really was helping you. Yang Fan smiled faintly. I believe you. Since you're so eager to help, go help me kill Wang Yilong again in the underworld. With that, he shoved her outside. In an instant, her fresh flesh attracted a swarm of zombies. Clinging to the door, Zhao Yunrong screamed, Yang Fan, I'll haunt you even as a ghost. Late that night, the three women finished washing up and settled into the staff dormitory on the second floor. Yang Fan remained alone on the first floor, continuing to gather supplies. He didn't stop until the entire supermarket was emptied. Early the next morning, three unfamiliar men arrived at the back of the supermarket. The moment they entered the first floor, they found the shelves completely bare. The buzzcut man collapsed to the ground, cursing, damn it all. After all that effort, there's not even a scrap left. Just then, one of them spotted the staircase leading upstairs. He quickly told the other two that the supermarket had a second floor. Maybe there was still food up there. The moment they pushed open the door, a 5-meter-long cleaver was already resting against the fat guy's shoulder. The two men behind him jolted in shock. Holy crap, there are people here. No wonder the first floor was cleaned out. Hearing the noise, Yin Yu opened the door and stepped out. She asked in confusion, Yang Fan, who are they? Seeing her, the fat guy immediately cried out, Miss, help. Please tell him to put the blade down. We're just looking for cat food and something to eat. Yang Fan wasn't in the mood to argue. He lowered the cleaver, walked toward Yin Yu, and said, Leave. There's no food left here. The buzzcut man clearly didn't believe him. Pointing at Yin Yu's backpack, he snapped, Who are you kidding? She's carrying a huge bag. There's definitely food inside, enough to keep us alive for days. Before he could finish, a throwing knife shot between the two men and slammed straight into the concrete wall behind them. Yin Yu's voice turned ice cold. You think you can rob my things? Get lost while you still can. The buzzcut man nearly pissed himself. The blade had almost pierced him. The man in green immediately grabbed him, promising they would leave at once. In truth, the two were already plotting something in secret. After they left, the fat guy stayed behind. Nervously, he said, Miss, I'm not with them. I just ran into them while looking for food. Do you have any cat food? I can trade information. I know a survivor base, no zombies, and it's protected by the military. As he spoke, he pulled out a kitten to prove he wasn't lying. Yin Yu frowned. Wasn't there cat food downstairs? She still hadn't realized that everything below had already been taken. To hide his ring's ability, Yang Fan calmly replied, There was some movement downstairs last night. Probably another group passed through. At that moment, Yang Qingxue walked over. The instant she saw the kitten, her eyes lit up. She reached out to hold it, but Yang Fan stopped her. He could tell at a glance that the cat had mutated. She ignored him anyway and scooped the kitten into her arms while he wasn't paying attention. Smiling happily, she said, You're so cute. I'll share half my snacks with you. just as they stepped outside the supermarket. A motorcycle came roaring toward them at full speed. It was the two men from before, with a pack of mutated zombie dogs chasing behind them. They skidded to a stop right behind Yang Fan's group, begging pitifully for help, claiming they had realized their mistake. Seeing their attitude, Yinyu allowed them to hide behind her. The two men exchanged a knowing grin. In the next instant, they launched a sneak attack. One went straight for Yinyu, while the other rushed Qingxue, aiming for her backpack. Yang Fan had already seen through them. He grabbed the buzz-cut man in one swift motion. With a brutal twist, he crippled the man's arm on the spot. The other attacker failed to snatch the backpack. Desperate, he suddenly shouted, "Look, zombie dogs!" Using the momentary distraction, he yanked the bag free, jumped onto a motorcycle, and sped off without the slightest concern for his so-called brother. At the same time, zombie dogs came charging in, howling behind Yang Fan. Yang Qingxue screamed in panic, "Watch out!" Yang Fan swung his arm and hurled the buzz-cut man straight toward the oncoming beasts. Then he ordered calmly, "Get on the bike and go. I'll hold him off." Unwilling to leave him alone, Yinyu shoved the backpack to Duanmu Yi and rushed forward to fight alongside Yang Fan. But the zombie dogs were fast, and there were too many of them to kill. At that critical moment, the fat guy suddenly turned the vehicle around and charged back in. Just as they thought they were finally safe, a thunderous roar forced them to look back. A massive figure emerged. It was a Tier 2 zombie dog. Yang Fan pushed Yinyu onto the bike. "Leave now. If you don't, none of us will." With no other choice, the fat guy slammed the throttle and sped away. The Tier 2 zombie dog was terrifyingly strong and quickly pinned Yang Fan down. Yang Fan didn't panic. "You want to chew on me?" he sneered. "Ask my Tier 2 Berserker blade if it agrees." Just as the jaws were about to clamp shut, Yang Fan seized the distance and swung hard, decapitating the beast in a single strike. A precious white crystal dropped to the ground, but the stench of blood drew the entire zombie horde. There were far too many to finish off. Fortunately, the fat guy returned just in time. Yinyu flung open the door and pulled Yang Fan aboard. The next second, a faint blush spread across her face. Yang Fan had jumped too hard and crashed straight into her arms. She hurriedly said, "Yang Fan, sit properly." The zombie horde kept chasing relentlessly. Yang Fan signaled the fat guy to circle around and shake them off. Inside the vehicle, Yinyu could barely stay upright. She slumped sideways as blood poured from her waist and abdomen. She'd only suffered a small cut during the buzz-cut man's ambush, but after the brutal fight with the zombie dogs, the wound had torn wide open. Seeing this, Yang Fan immediately reached for her pants. Yinyu grimaced in pain and shock. "Yang Fan, what are you doing?" He was checking the wound. Yang Fan quickly took off his jacket and had Duanmu Yi help bandage it to stop the bleeding. Luckily, the fat guy knew of a survivor base inside a nearby shopping complex, one that had medicine doctors. They rushed straight to the building. But the moment Yang Fan stepped out of the vehicle, he froze. He knew this place all too well. In his previous life, he'd only arrived here after being tortured by Wang Yilong for an entire month. A female doctor had saved him, only to be executed later for defying orders and treating patients for free. This time, Yang Fan swore he would protect her at all costs. The fat guy ran to the gate and begged the guards for help. The guards, worried the injury came from a zombie bite, refused entry. Yinyu immediately showed her wound, proving it was caused by a blade, not a bite. The two guards ignored her and blocked the entrance. Their condition was clear: 100 gray crystals per person and an extra 1,000 for Yinyu. Yang Fan admitted he didn't have that much. He handed over every gray crystal he had, plus a white crystal. The redhead guard stared at the bag in shock. He never thought he'd see a white crystal in his lifetime. He promptly opened the gates to the base, but they weren't benevolent. The redhead whispered to his partner, same as always. Once they're inside, kill the guy first. Then take our time with the fat one and the 3 women. With all those bags, they're probably carrying more crystals. The glint of the blade didn't escape Yang Fan's eyes. A faint smile crossed his face as he drew the 5-meter-long cleaver and lunged forward. In a single heartbeat, one guard was taken down. The second guard tried to fight back, but Yinyu dashed behind him and finished the job with a clean thrust. Yang Qingxue didn't waste a second. As soon as the bodies hit the ground, she started searching them. She recovered all the backpacks and even found some extra gray crystals. Watching this, the fat guy felt his scalp tingle. These people looked calm on the surface, but when they moved, they killed and looted without hesitation. Terrifying. He quietly decided to part ways with them once things settled down. Suddenly, Yang Fan looked up at the second floor. "You can come down now." Applause echoed through the hall. A well-dressed man descended from upstairs, surrounded by bodyguards. His name was Bao Boss. Before the apocalypse, he ran a security business. Now, he controlled this survivor base. Without hiding his admiration, Bao Boss said he had never seen a young man with such strength and decisiveness. He wanted Yang Fan to join him as the base's third-in-command. Yang Fan didn't refuse outright. "Boss Bao, we can talk about that later. My friend is injured. I hear you have doctors here. Saving her comes first." Straightforward as he was, Bao Boss immediately ordered his men to take them to the medical area. But the moment Yang Fan saw the doctor, he froze. In his past life, the one who saved him was a female doctor. It seemed she hadn't arrived at the base yet. After a quick examination, the male doctor said coldly, "Bladed wound. Heavy blood loss. She needs a transfusion and a tetanus shot." Then he named his price, 5,000 gray crystals. The fat guy exploded. 5,000? You think crystals grow on trees? Why don't you just rob us outright? The doctor's expression hardened. "No crystals, no treatment. Go home and wait to die. Don't waste my time." Just then, a voice came from the next room. "Who's injured? If you won't treat them, I will." The familiar voice made Yang Fan freeze. It was her, the doctor who had saved his life in his previous life. He hadn't expected her to arrive at the base this early. Lin Miaochuan didn't waste a second. She examined the wound. Not deep, but it's been torn open repeatedly. Significant blood loss. The male doctor exploded. "Lin Miaochuan, what the hell are you doing? Treating people for free? Do you have any idea how valuable medical supplies are?" Lin Miaochuan remained calm. "My professional ethics won't allow me to let someone die. If you don't like it, go complain to Bao Boss." That snapped him. He raised his hand and lunged at her. "Stop right there. Who do you think you are? I'm the one in charge here." Just before his hand could land, Yang Fan caught it midair. His voice was cold. "Touch her, and I'll break your arm." Outnumbered, the doctor yanked his hand back and stormed out. "Fine, just wait. I'm with Bao Boss right now." After he left, Lin Miaochuan thanked them and asked everyone to step outside. She needed to remove clothing and stitch the wound. Yang Fan didn't move. Instead, he said something painfully awkward. "Would you be mine?" In his past life, he owed her too much. This time, he refused to let her die again. The others were stunned. First meeting, and he's already confessing? Lin Miaochuan snapped. "Sir, we are not that familiar. Get out. Don't interfere with my treatment." A dozen minutes later, she stepped out. "You can come in now. Your friend is fine. Avoid strenuous activity for a few days, and she'll recover." Just as relief spread, a voice shouted from outside. "Boss Bao, it's them. They got treatment without paying crystals." Bao Boss entered with the doctor and several men. "Brother Yang, medical resources are scarce. The crystals that should be paid can't be skipped." Yang Fan replied flatly, "I never said I wouldn't pay. But 5,000 gray crystals for a surface wound? That's robbery." One of the men raised his gun, ready to put Yang Fan down. Yang Fan lifted his hand and activated his craftsman skill. The weapon instantly turned into scrap metal. Bao Boss was thrilled. He hadn't expected Yang Fan to be an ability user. He promised food, shelter, and waived medical fees if Yang Fan joined him. Then his tone shifted. "But those who break the rules must be punished." At his signal, Gao Liang and Wu Mei unleashed their abilities, aiming to kill Lin Miaochuan, the doctor who charged nothing. Yang Fan reacted instantly and saved her. His heart pounded. "I almost let my savior die in front of me again." He knew this base had more than just a couple of ability users. If things truly escalated, he might not get everyone out alive. After a brief pause, Yang Fan looked straight at Bao Boss. "I'll join you. I'll be your third in command, and I'll strengthen your base with my ability. But you let the doctor go." Bao Boss frowned. "I can spare her. But explain this. How exactly does your ability improve my base?" Yang Fan felt a surge of satisfaction. Looks like this old fox still doesn't understand what a craftsman really means. He spoke calmly. "My ability doesn't just reshape weapons. I can forge them. Right now, I'm limited to Tier 1 weapons. Once I reach Tier 2, I'll be able to mass-produce Tier 2 gear. Give me time, and I can arm you with an elite force. You provide the crystals, metals, and biological materials. I'll sell each weapon at 80% cheaper than the traders." Bao Boss clapped excitedly. 80% cheaper? Not bad at all. You just handed me a treasure. Materials won't be an issue. If the first 100 weapons meet my standards, I'll even give you a Tier 2 evolution potion as your joining gift. Still, Bao Boss didn't fully trust him. Behind the scenes, he ordered his men to watch Yang Fan closely. Once he proves he can forge weapons, grab his companions. Lock him here forever and make him work for us. Wu Mei chuckled softly. "Boss Bao, you really are as ruthless as ever." Yang Fan was taken straight to the main vault without a chance to rest. One of the safes stood open. Gao Yang pointed inside. 5,000 gray crystals. Boss Bao wants you to test your skills with these. If you fail, you and your friends will be tossed outside to feed the zombies. Yang Fan sneered inwardly. 5,000 just to test. They must be sitting on heavy firepower. Gao Yang then gestured to a pile of miscellaneous items. Those are materials we don't even know how to use. War trophies. Take whatever you think is useful. To Yang Fan, every single one of those trophies was priceless, enough to outfit his team with special gear. These people had no idea what they were sitting on. He waved Gao Yang away. I don't like spectators when I'm forging. Guard the door. He activated his craftsman skill and began forging. Publicly, he produced 10 mountain cleaving blades. Privately, he forged exclusive weapons for his own team. He stopped only when he reached his absolute limit. All the equipment was stored inside his ring. He also pocketed some gray crystals, fair payment for his labor. Outside, Gao Yang was discussing how to get control over the women around Yang Fan. Suddenly, the vault door exploded open. Yang Fan stared Gao Yang down. Touch my companions, and I don't care if you're an ability user. I'll put you on the ground. Gao Yang sneered. If these weapons don't pass inspection, don't expect to see tomorrow's sun. Reality slapped him hard. The mountain-cleaving blades cut through metal like butter. 10 weapons, made with just 3,600 gray crystals and some so-called junk materials. From a trader, the same batch would have cost at least 6. Gao Yang immediately demanded more. Yang Fan shut him down cold. I'm at my limit. 10 weapons per day. That's it. Then his tone sharpened. The weapons are delivered. When do I see my companions? Gao Yang didn't argue. He waved his hand and ordered someone to lead the way. Once reunited, Yang Fan revealed the gear he had forged in secret. Yang Qingxue received a tier 1 spatial necklace, 1 cubic meter of pure snack storage. Yin, you got a tier 2 Desert Eagle with unlimited ammo. Duanmu, you received tier 1 scanning glasses, capable of instant item analysis. The fat guy was given a tier 1 Guardian Shield, expandable and capable of blocking attack from tier 1 mutants and below. Lin Miaochuan's equipment stood out. A tier 1 fine fiber ballistic vest, brand new design. Her face flushed. You pervert. Couldn't you make the design a little more normal? At dawn the next day, Boss mobilized the entire base. Every squad was sent out to hunt crystals and rare materials. Yang Fan watched it all from above. Now it made sense. The massive stockpile wasn't luck. The base was armed with American heavy machine guns. Zombie hunting was industrialized. A knock pulled him from his thoughts. Lin Miaochuan stood at the door, wearing the new vest. She told him someone was waiting in the living room. Urgent business. When Yang Fan arrived, Wu Mei was already seated on the couch, smiling faintly. The materials are ready, she said. We expect faster output. And this time, I'll be watching. Yang Fan claimed his ability hadn't recovered yet and that he couldn't forge any weapons for now. Wu Mei didn't mind at all. Smiling, she said she could wait and wouldn't even mind waiting alone in his room. As she spoke, she stepped closer and let her hands wander. Yang Fan caught her wrist mid-motion. I've got things to do this morning. We'll talk this afternoon. Wu Mei blinked, clearly surprised that her charm hadn't worked. She pouted immediately. Where are you going? I can keep you company. Yang Fan cut straight to the point. A base this size should have a trader. I need medicine. Wu Mei nodded. We do, but there's a 3,000 gray crystal access fee every time. Even Yang Fan frowned at that. This wasn't profiteering, it was outright extortion. Still, the crystals had come from Bao Boss anyway. Spending them didn't hurt much. Soon, they arrived at a heavily guarded area, hidden behind what looked like a public restroom. What surprised Yang Fan even more was that 3,000 crystals only bought 5 minutes of access. But once he realized this was a tier 2 trader, he stopped bargaining and felt a flicker of anticipation. That optimism vanished the moment the interface opened. Every evolution potion and valuable item had already been bought out by Bao Boss, and no wonder he allowed others to use it. All that remained was a challenge arena, marked with 2 failed attempts. Clearly, Bao Boss had tried and given up. In his past life, challenge arenas were battlegrounds for elites. Success meant rare gear. And since this was only a tier 2 trader, the battlefield shouldn't spawn anything too outrageous. Yang Fan decided to gamble. Sometimes risks paid off. A harsh roar echoed as his consciousness was pulled into an ancient-style arena. Time flowed nearly 10 times slower here. He had 50 minutes to defeat his opponent. A thunderous crash followed. A massive mechanical arm came into view. Standing before him was a mechanical explosive bear. Striking first, Yang Fan drew his weapon, aiming to end it in one blow. The power behind it was overwhelming. He couldn't even get close. When he finally saw the red crystal core embedded in its chest, his blood ran cold. This thing was tier 3, but it was already too late. The massive energy shockwave blasted Yang Fan backward, sending him flying more than 10 meters. In the next instant, flames surged forth, turning everything around him into a sea of fire. This mechanical blast bear outmatched Yang Fan in speed, strength, and defense alike. Still, there was no such thing as a flawless powerhouse, not even a monster that had once reached tier 9. After several near-fatal exchanges, Yang Fan finally discovered its weakness. Seizing the moment, he activated the paralysis effect of his tier 2 Berserk Blade, completely bringing down the tier 3 mechanical blast bear. Just then, a playful voice echoed from above. That dumb bear actually lost? Interesting. I'm starting to look forward to this. Yang Fan spun around and shouted, "Who's there?" At the same time, the system panel lit up with a notification, "Challenge cleared. Reward. Artisan class advanced to tier 2. A sense of relief washed over Yang Fan. This life-and-death struggle had been worth it. He had gained far more than expected. With the trade complete, Yang Fan stepped out of the restroom. Before he could leave, however, he was surrounded by guards who demanded to search him. Yang Fan said coldly, "I'm the 3rd in command of the base, personally appointed by Boss Bao. Do you people have a death wish?" The guard leader chuckled. According to him, those were the rules. 3,000 gray crystals only bought access to the trader. Anything obtained afterward had to be handed over, half of it included. Wu may try to persuade him softly. Let them search you. If this reaches Boss Bao, your companions might pay the price for your impulsiveness. Yang Fan despised being threatened. He sneered and said, "Fine. What if you find nothing?" The guard replied instantly, "Then I'll twist my own head off and let you kick it like a ball." You stayed inside for 5 full minutes without trading anything. Who believed that? Hearing this, Yang Fan finally relaxed. He spread his arms, allowing them to search him freely. Yet after a thorough inspection, the guards found absolutely nothing. The leader exploded in rage. Impossible. Did he swallow everything? The moment those words fell, an icy chill swept through the air. In the next second, Yang Fan snatched a submachine gun from a nearby guard. He raised it and fired straight into the back of the leader's head. "I'll gladly take your head, then." Turning to Wu Mei with a dark expression, he asked, "What about you? Want to search me too?" Wu Mei shook her head frantically, clearly terrified. Yang Fan added calmly, "Threaten me again, and your head will be next." Unexpectedly, Wu Mei's eyes sparkled. "You look so hot when you're angry. I can barely stand." Yang Fan walked away without a second glance. Wu Mei hurried after him, clinging to his arm shyly. "I showed you the traitor. Shouldn't you take me to forge some gear now?" Yang Fan shoved her away without hesitation. "Stay away from me. I'm not interested in married women." It was the first time Wu Mei had ever been rejected by a man. Deep down, she swore that one day, Yang Fan would become her personal possession. Meanwhile, Yin Yu and the others were still worrying about food. Boss Bao had locked them up without providing water or supplies. The few packs of food they had brought could only last one more day at most. Just then, Yang Fan walked in and said calmly, "That won't be a problem." As he raised his right hand, packs of food popped out of storage one after another. He casually claimed they were rewards personally given by Boss Bao. After settling everyone in, Yang Fan returned alone to his room and began forging equipment. Using the red crystal core he had obtained earlier, he forged a mutated fire tribute weapon. In his previous life, a weapon like this would have sold for hundreds of thousands of white crystals. At the same time, he didn't neglect Boss Bao's orders. Over the next few days, he continued forging 10 weapons a day. He even used leftover materials to craft himself a silk weave bulletproof vest. After forging 90 weapons in total, Yang Fan stopped. He knew very well that even if he completed all 100, Boss Bao would never actually give him the Tier 2 Evolution Serum. More likely, he'd kill him once the job was done. So, taking advantage of this final forging opportunity, Yang Fan went to the trader once again, hoping for a stroke of luck. This time, the guard were noticeably more polite. Yang Fan didn't make things difficult for them. After handing over 3,000 gray crystals, he immediately started the trade. Although most item cards had already been looted, his storage ring still had a once-per-week item refresh chance. Unexpectedly, it refreshed a rare card, a Sage class card. Yang Fan clearly remembered that in his previous life, an 8th tier Sage could revive the dying and regrow flesh, making them a prized asset for every super base. Yang Fan thought to himself, I have to convince Lin Miaochuan to come with me. This class card fits her perfectly. With her, my team will truly rise. Xiao wash your neck and wait. What he didn't know was that Gao Liang, who had long coveted the women around Yang Fan, had already lost his patience and moved ahead of schedule. As soon as Yang Fan walked out of the shopping area, he ran into Wu Mei, who was searching for him. It turned out that Boss Bao had just ordered his men to seize Yang Fan's companions and lock them in a dark, damp underground cell. Wu Mei warned him quietly, "The people coming for you should arrive any moment now." But Wu Mei was still Boss Bao's woman. Yang Fan didn't believe her for a second. Just as he turned to leave, she grabbed his arm. Finally, she revealed her intention. "Give me the tier 2 evolution serum Boss Bao promised you, and I'll help you rescue your companions." The moment Wu Mei finished speaking, Yang Fan shoved her away and coldly told her to get lost. Watching his retreating back, Wu Mei clenched her teeth and swore silently that she would make him regret it. Not long after, Yang Fan spotted a group of people rushing toward the forging room, shouting, "Don't let Yang Fan get away." Only then did he realize Wu Mei hadn't lied. His companions really had been thrown into the dungeon. Fortunately, Yang Fan knew the area well. Following the routes he remembered, he slipped through blind spots in the surveillance and reached the dungeon perimeter. But once there, he saw just how tight the security was. Not even a fly could slip through. After a brief hesitation, Yang Fan took out the silk-weave bulletproof vest from his storage ring. He put it on, eyes cold, and prepared to force his way in. At the same time, the prisoners inside weren't sitting idle either. Using her scanning goggles, Duanmu noticed several worn spots on the rope binding Yinyu's wrists. With the glass shard she had secretly hidden, it could be cut easily. The two moved closer, holding their breath as they prepared to free each other. Nearby, the fat guy quietly signaled the cat to stay silent while it gnawed at the rope. Unfortunately, a faint reflection from the goggle's lens caught the attention of a patrolling guard. Seasoned and alert, he reacted instantly. Sure enough, the moment he opened the cell door, he saw their movements. Without a word, he kicked Duanmu hard in the face, showing no mercy. Seeing her companion attacked, Yinyu reacted immediately, sweeping the man's legs out from under him. At the same time, the cat finished freeing the fat guy. He pinned the man down and began raining punches on him. Only when another guard pressed a gun to his head did he stop. The beaten man staggered up in a frenzy, seeking revenge. Sharp slaps echoed through the dungeon. Seeing its owner being hit, the cat lunged forward. It let out a chilling hiss straight at the man. Furious that even an animal dared to defy him, the man snatched his partner's pistol. He raised it, ready to execute the cat on the spot. The fat guy threw himself over the cat, shielding it with his body, and took the bullet instead. The man grinned cruelly. "If you're that eager to die, I'll send you on your way." Just as the man was about to pull the trigger, a shoe suddenly slammed into his face. He roared in rage. Who the hell threw that? When he turned around, Yang Fan was already standing at the cell entrance. Yang Fan's eyes burned with killing intent. He was clearly in a blood-red frenzy. The guards chasing after him raised their guns and opened fire. Yin Yu shouted anxiously, "Yang Fan, run! Leave us!" What she didn't know was that Yang Fan's equipment had already evolved. Faced with the incoming bullets, he showed no fear at all. With a casual slash, he split them cleanly in half. As his blade moved at blinding speed, an invisible barrier formed around him, rendering all physical attacks useless. The fat guy hastily pulled out his phone, filming the unbelievable scene, unable to accept that such a monster could exist. In the next instant, as a guard finished emptying his magazine, Yang Fan cut him down in a single strike. Only then did everyone truly grasp how terrifying Yang Fan was. But amid the chaos, the troublesome younger sister was taken hostage. Seizing the opening, Lin Miaochuan swept the man's legs out from under him. Yang Qingxue sprinted toward Yang Fan at once. Realizing he was doomed, the man tried to drag Lin Miaochuan down with him. The moment he pulled the trigger, Yang Fan tore off his entire arm. A brutal flurry of follow-up strikes followed, sealing the man's fate. Without stopping to rest, Yang Fan prepared to lead everyone out immediately. To his surprise, Boss Bao was already blocking the exit with his men. The tension hit its peak, both sides ready to explode into battle. Boss Bao calmly lit a cigar and said, "Hand over just one companion as a hostage, and we can forget everything that happened. I'll even keep your position as third in command." Yang Fan chuckled, instantly seeing through the ploy. He stepped forward and replied, "A great offer. You've got heavy weapons and awakened fighters. I've got a few women and one fat guy. If we fight now, we'd be nothing but eggs hitting rocks." Hearing that, Yinyu turned to Yang Fan and said firmly, "Let me go. You're the one who saved my life." The fat guy and Lin Miaochuan also stepped forward, both willing to sacrifice themselves for their companions. As the argument was about to escalate, Yang Fan raised his sword and snapped. "What's there to argue about? I said it was a good suggestion, not that I'd surrender." Just as Yang Fan prepared for a fight to the death, Duanmu, he suddenly found a weak point in the wall. Horizontal axis, 3.3 meters. Vertical axis, 5.2 meters. Yang Fan's eyes sharpened. He activated his blade and struck the wall with full force. A thunderous crash followed as the reinforced concrete wall was torn open. Yang Fan immediately ordered everyone to retreat. Boss Bao's expression darkened as he shouted, "Open fire! Don't let a single one escape." With the fat guy providing cover, everyone barely made it out of the dungeon alive. Suddenly, Gao Yang leapt into the air, aiming to kill the fat guy in a single blow. At the critical moment, Yang Fan arrived in time, forcing Gao Yang back. Strike while the iron is hot. Yang Fan followed up instantly, slashing Gao Liang's neck. Terror filled Gao Liang's face. His ability was Tier 1 petrification. Ordinary people couldn't even scratch his defense. But Yang Fan gave him no chance to recover. One more strike ended his life. Watching his trusted subordinate die, Boss Bao flew into a rage and ordered a rocket launcher attack. The explosion was so powerful that the roof began to collapse. Seeing this, Yang Fan led everyone toward the breach. The moment they escaped, the opening behind them was completely sealed off. They thought the danger was over. But Boss Bao transformed into a beast man and gave chase. Yin Yu fired her handgun to cover their retreat, but Boss Bao dodged effortlessly. To a Tier 2 beast transformation awakened, firearms were nothing more than toys. Boss Bao believed that by stepping in personally, he could crush Yang Fan with ease. Instead, he found himself evenly matched. Worse still, Yang Fan's weapon could easily sever his claws. Only then did Boss Bao realize the truth. The blade had been forged from the souvenirs, sitting forgotten in his own warehouse. Finally realizing his mistake, Boss Bao decided to stall for time, waiting for reinforcements to arrive with heavy weapons before finishing Yang Fan off. What Boss Bao never expected was that Yang Fan had already gotten his companions into a car and taken off at full speed. Only then did Boss Bao realize he had been completely played. Yang Fan never intended to fight him head-on. The standoff earlier had been nothing but a bluff to buy time. Feeling his intelligence thoroughly insulted, Boss Bao went berserk and chased after the car like a madman. As the distance closed rapidly, panic spread through the vehicle. The accelerator was floored, yet Boss Bao kept gaining. Yang Fan suddenly spoke up, head for downtown. The zombie density is highest there. They might slow him down. Without hesitation, Duanmu, he turned the wheel and drove straight into the horde. When the Tier 1 zombies failed to breach the car, they swarmed toward Boss Bao instead. Unfortunately, Tier 1 zombies were no match for him. Just as the plan seemed doomed to fail, Boss Bao closed in again. Suddenly, a 3-meter-tall giant emerged from the fog. It was a horrifying Tier 3 zombie. Yang Fan's expression darkened. The city center is crowded, sure, but it hasn't even been half a month. A creature that knows only slaughter and barely dies shouldn't exist yet. Compared to Boss Bao, this thing is far more dangerous. He stepped out of the car, drew his blade, and prepared to fight to the death. As the zombie king advanced, Boss Bao caught up from behind. Knowing there was no escape, Yang Fan signaled his sister and the others to drive on, planning to buy time alone. But to everyone's shock, the Tier 3 zombie ignored Yang Fan entirely and lunged straight at Boss Bao. Boss Bao froze, utterly stunned. Yang Fan didn't stick around to watch. Escaping death by a hair, he jumped back into the car and ordered a retreat. By this stage, Tier 3 zombies had evolved the ability to choose their prey. High-tier awakened humans provided far richer energy. If Boss Bao hadn't been chasing them, Yang Fan and the others would have been wiped out on the spot. To properly thank Boss Bao for saving their lives, Yang Fan decided to send his companions to Dichuan City for refuge. He himself got off midway and headed straight for Boss Bao's base. Not to simply loot it while its owner was gone, but to quietly leave him a very special gift. First, Yang Fan loaded all the valuable raw materials into his storage ring. Then he split open the safe with a single strike. He emptied every last bit of wealth Boss Bao had accumulated over a lifetime. Even then, Yang Fan didn't leave. Using a bear paw and several bullets, he activated his artisan modification skill and crafted a miniature TNT explosive that ignored physical defense. That devastating firework was, in fact, the farewell gift Yang Fan had prepared for Boss Bao. Just as he was about to leave, he ran straight into Boss Bao, freshly returned from battle. Boss Bao was covered in wounds, with a sharp spine from the zombie king lodged in his shoulder. Seeing his base looted, Boss Bao instantly transformed into his beast form and lunged at Yang Fan in fury. But heavily injured as he was, he stood no chance against Yang Fan. His all-out strike was effortlessly dodged. Unwilling to accept defeat, Boss Bao charged again. This time, Yang Fan severed 4 of his fingers with a single slash. Only then did Boss Bao truly realize he was no longer Yang Fan's match. He turned to flee. An arrow pierced straight through his heart. Even Yang Fan hadn't expected that the Tier 2 Beast Transformation Awakened who once hunted him would die by his blade. As Yang Fan turned to leave, a vial suddenly rolled out of Boss Bao's pocket. It was a Tier 2 Evolution Serum. Yang Fan was overjoyed. No wonder it hadn't been in the safe. Boss Bao had kept it on him the whole time. Without hesitation, Yang Fan drank it down in one gulp. Power surged through his body. His physical strength alone now rivaled that of a top-tier martial artist. To test his newfound power, Yang Fan headed outside the base and fought a few zombies. Still, it wasn't enough. He grabbed a motorcycle, cutting down zombies as he rode at full speed, such overwhelming presence that even zombie kings would avoid him. While passing through a small town, Yang Fan's storage ring suddenly reacted, signaling the presence of a traitor nearby. Spotting fresh tire tracks on the ground, he assumed someone had arrived first. He followed the tracks all the way. To his surprise, he found his sister's BMW instead. Even more alarming were dozens of adult-sized footprints ahead of the car. Sensing danger, Yang Fan abandoned the motorcycle and followed the tracks on foot to avoid alerting anyone. Soon, loud noises drew his attention. He saw the fat guy tied to a thick wooden stake, surrounded not by mutants, but ordinary people. Yang Fan instinctively thought they were cannibals like those from his previous life. He leapt forward, ready to slaughter every last one of these cruel vermin. But the fat guy hoarsely stopped him, insisting they were good people. It turned out the villagers were being threatened by a new village chief. If they didn't bind the fat guy, he would use the god tree to turn everyone into zombies. It turned out that on the way to Dichuan City, the group was suddenly stopped by a small, frail-looking girl. Crying, she said her father was gravely ill and close to death, begging them to save him. Yanyu immediately insisted they had no time to waste and wanted to keep moving. Yang Qingxue, however, couldn't bear it. She felt sorry for the girl and wanted to help. Lin Miaochuan also believed that with her sage abilities, she might actually be able to heal the man. Faced with this textbook display of compassion, Yanyu could only give in. The girl's village lay deep in the mountains, where cars couldn't reach, forcing them to continue on foot. This scene was quietly observed by one of the new village chief's lackeys. On the surface, he praised the former chief's daughter for doing well, but behind his smile, his eyes lingered greedily on Yanyu and the others. When the old village chief saw his daughter bring back doctors, he was overjoyed. This was also Lin Miaochuan's first time using her sage skill to treat a patient. When the blinding blue light appeared, the old chief immediately realized these people were far from ordinary. Sure enough, the illness that had tormented him for years vanished in an instant. Lin Miaochuan, however, wasn't faring well. The immense sage power didn't match her physical condition, and she quickly fell into extreme exhaustion. Just as the group finished their good deed and prepared to leave, the door was kicked open. A group of vicious-looking men stormed in. The new village chief grinned maliciously. "I heard we got some guests." The old chief dropped to his knees, begging, "They're good people. Please let them go. I'll have my daughter lure more people into the village." Only then did everyone realize they had been tricked, but it was already too late. The new chief had already prepared the bridal chamber, and this time, there was more than one bride. With a wave of his hand, he ordered his men to move. The old chief rushed forward to stop them, only to be sent flying by a single punch. Fortunately, Yanyu had come prepared and brought weapons when she got out of the car. Once she revealed them, the villagers hesitated, afraid to act rashly. Suddenly, the lackey from the village entrance emerged from behind with a blade, grabbing Yang Qingxue as a hostage. "Nobody move, or I'll bleed this little girl dry." With Yang Qingxue captured, Yanyu had no choice but to lower her weapon. Pleased with the lackey's performance, the new chief promised to leave him a bowl of soup after the feast. He then ordered the women dragged into the bridal chamber and the men taken outside to be tied up and roasted. The old chief knelt on the ground, begging desperately, "You can't do this. They saved my life, and they have a doctor. She can save the sick villagers." The new chief ignored him completely and kicked him aside. With a cold expression, He threatened, "If I come back and that fat guy isn't roasted to death, I'll turn your daughter into fertilizer for the god tree."